What time is it? Showtime. Welcome everybody to this edition. I don't even know what we're calling this, but nevertheless, we are here. You are here. So we're going to talk about some technical SEO things before we jump into, this internal linking at scale presentation from Serge over at JetOctopus. I just want to talk a little bit about, John, you've been doing this newsletter. Any key highlights from last week's newsletter or things that you're going to talk about this week?
So some of the past highlights goes into some of the technical stuff using Puppeteer for technical SEO to find things like unused CSS or JavaScript. Some of the things that the newsletter covers is mostly just code examples on GitHub repo or articles talking about different technical SEO things. It's always nice to see what other people are coding and take a look out there.
Yeah, and if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, you can just go to John's Twitter and sign up directly there. And some great stuff in there. So I definitely would recommend you check it out. So before we go any further, why don't we do just some quick introductions? So I'm Mike King, founder and CEO here at iPullRank. John, who are you?
I'm John Murch. I'm the director of engineering at iPullRank. You can visually hear it with Mike.
And Serge, who are you?
I'm a CTO and co-founder of JetOctopus.com crawler and log analyzer. Thank you for having me here.
Cool. So why don't you take it away? Tell us about internal linking at scale.
Thank you, Mike. So internal linking, probably if we open any guide for SEO and we point to technical SEO section, the first thing will be in technical SEO section is internal linking because it's crucial for tech SEO. So, and I want to tell today a bit about internal linking for the big websites, as usual on scale, as usual for big e-commerce website, catalogs, like wherever. So I assume we're talking about websites which size like goes up to 100,000 pages and more. If you have 1,000,000 pages, it will be more nice. So a few words about me. I'm not an SEO guy, unfortunately, but whole my experience as developer, I was like half of me was actually doing SEO with different SEO guys. And I spent tons of years, at least 5 years written here, building different aggregators like job, real estate. Even it was some funny niches in Germany. But as you know, any aggregators is a big website. It's not unique content, and you have to deal with technical SEO because without organic traffic, you can't build an successful aggregator. And I had to dive deep into SEO, and finally, like many years ago, we started an JetOctopus.com platform. By own needs, it was written the first crawler and later log analyzer, and like from 2018, the JetOctopus.com came to the market. So here's a history. Our agenda. If we're talking about some technical stuff, we always should have some boring theory because to talking about like some approaches, what we do. And after we learn some theory, we can go to some practical things, which came us to conclusion. And let's start with theory, a bit boring. So just a very first slide, just everybody, I assume everybody understands the difference between internal links and external links. So if domain which points to your website is different from your domain, we assume that it's external link. Any other link within your website, it's internal link. So you can fully manage these links and it's your own links. And very oftenly I saw like some SEOs like we have only external links? Do we have only internal links? Each type of links have their pros and cons. And my opinion here, they work better all together. So if we go to internal links, they're free, which are very nice. You don't have to pay, don't have to spend time for them. You have almost full control on them. you have almost unlimited amount of internal links and on your website. But the internal links are less powerful, and sometimes they can be even useless. They're very helpful with low frequency keyword, like with long tail keyword. And usually it requires the developer's time. When you want to introduce some logic on the website, like in most cases, you have to go to developers. But external links, they have own pros, like they're more powerful, they highly required for high frequency keywords. So you can't be in top 10 of Google for query like insurance in New York, car insurance in New York only with internal links. Of course, you have to have very nice external links, but their amount are limited and they're expensive and time consuming. And expensive not about money, but about everything, about time, about people and efforts. But the better approach when we use them both, and I tell you how a bit later. Why does internal links matter? So if we go to Google and someone want to see some John Miller tweets about internal links, so it's almost endless amount of them, how important internal links is. And the truth is the internal links actually creates your website structure. When we're talking about like your structure of your catalogs, of your product pages, wherever, it's like website pages, they don't came like from nothing. They actually connected with internal links. Internal linking makes huge influence on crawling budget. Not only links, but they do. They also make less influence on low frequency keyword rankings, and also with the help of internal links, you can add semantic to your target pages. So where in other words, anchor text of links pointing to the target pages, those anchor text add semantic to this page. And I'm pretty sure everybody saw this on the practical cases many times. And just one of confirming for impact on crawling budget, we have on JetOctopus a chart when you can like apply crawl data with logs data, and this chart probably have been seen by any our clients. So the more internal links pointing to the page, the more those pages crawled by Google. I'm not saying here like you should have only like internal links and nothing else matter, but it's one of the key factors of influencing on crawling budget on like any big websites. But internal links also very often we say like it's important for Google, it's important for site structure, but no, my opinion here, like proper internal linkings also helps your users. So when it's not like, typical SEO stuff doing just after generated and so on, but when it's created by good way, it really helps user to navigate on your website and increase all your parameters. One of main axiom of internal linkings in the website. So it's very simple rule. So the more important our page is, the more internal links pointing to the page it should have. So importance of the page can be different thing on every website, but like general rule, what we can start at, it means by what frequency of the keywords which this page used. So if this page have more frequent keywords, we assume it's more important. If there's some low frequency keywords, for example, a few impressions within a year, it's not so important page for us, and probably for Google and for users also. And the second axiom, links are not equal, and the placement on page matters. And there are many good articles on Bill Slavsky website, which like reasonable surfer model, it came from 2004 year. And when you place a link inside your main content, like with good visibility, and when you place link in your footer on your gray footer with also black color, not so distinguished, so those links are not equal. So a lot like pages with simply fields of links, they don't work in terms of passing some like link juice, or how we can say. So the links for internal link is the proper way. It should be in the main content. It should be visible for a user, not just to have on the page. It's very crucial here to have. And we finish with boring theory, and now going to the practical part. So when we started, like everybody after, like the more important page, like the more internal links we should have, and like everybody is ready. Okay, I'm going right now to improve my internal linking and to do some good SEO stuff. But the biggest problem is the amounts. So even the not so big websites, so you can see on the bottom, it's 5 million pages, but this website has almost 2 billion of links, of internal links. It's a huge amount. You can't work with it on Excel. It's even hard to work with text files on Python. And it's not a big website. Even I saw 1 million pages websites which can contain also like hundreds of millions internal links. And especially for e-commerce, for catalogs, like it can has every page can has like 300, 500 links on the page, and we should deal with it. How? The first how we start in with like any task, we should to do some analytics, some analyzing of our picture. And for any big websites, usually we don't have like the whole big websites with a bunch of pages. Usually every big website consists of some parts. Sometimes, like not sometimes, but the most common way, we divided it by directories, which has like pretty like obvious directory structure. It's very nice. Sometimes we can divide by like any else parameter. But if we go by directories, we can start analyzing where we can apply our efforts, because we don't want to do just fine on the whole website, right? We want to do some job which will produce us more results. And the first way to prioritize it's looking on impressions, looking on clicks. So where we get traffic, and do we need to make some improvements on these catalogs? So, and this is actually a report from JetOctopus. It's consolidation report from the whole, from the crawl, from the log analyzer, from the Google Search Console, from Ahrefs. And just looking on one table, you can start and you can have some ideas with what part of the website would be better to start. Like, do we want to start with A, for example, the first subdirectory, which produces a huge amount of traffic, or we can go down with some with not so popular parts of our website. And let's go. And the next thing which we can where we can go is we grouping our pages. For example, we selected some directory, and the next part we should go and look on pages, and we should split them, how many internal links they have. And here I want to say that it not so matter, like exact amount of links which point to every page. We should divide like in few groups. Here, for example, we have 5 groups of pages in links count, but in general way, the page can has no internal links or like less than 10 internal links, which we assume it's very few, because from our practice, from our knowing, if the page has less than 10 internal links, it will be almost it will have no crawling budget or very low amount. So we assume the page doesn't have any internal links. So the next we go in, the page has like a few internal links, and it depends on your website. You can just simply split by your counts. It has like an average amount, which means, okay, many, and top hub pages, usually it's a very low percent of on any website. It will be like, I don't know, 1%, 2% of whole website pages. And understanding amount in each groups, we started to deal with that. And after, it's very popular to calculate page rank. Like almost any SEO tool has a page rank. Everybody knows this formula from Wikipedia and from the Google patent, which almost like how many? 25 years old, even more. But we don't have PageRank in JetOctopus, and we will not have PageRank in JetOctopus
because you have to dig into that. Why don't you use it?
That's why I'm telling you, because I'm not believe in this formula of it's 25 years old formula of PageRank calculation. And the first of all, because of reasonable surfer model and Google patent, because the links are not equal, and we can't, we are not Google. Google can very easily distinguish, is your link in the main content, is your link in the footer, like how they differs, how they weight. That's why we don't want to, to calculate some numbers which we won't believe, And that's why I'm looking more just pure link count and just dividing by groups. We don't need some exact numbers, do my page rank is 6 or 7 or 4. It's just low, medium, or high, something like that. It will be much more easier to understand and to deal with on the website. Okay.
So to that end, how do you feel about the metrics that are built by the different link indices, specifically for external links, obviously we're talking about here, but like, how do you feel about things like, page authority, trust flow, citation flow, all those types of things?
Oh, that's very nice metrics, and I do believe on them, because of course they're not ideal, but when we go to external links, it's much more easier, to to calculate and to deal with them. So trust flow and so on, it's nice. Okay. How to optimize our internal link in the process? It's an endless circle between cleaning garbage, experimenting, results examination, and analyzing. I believe that every website which has like more than 6 months of age has a garbage, and the more years the website has, the more garbage on the website are, probably in some geometric progression. Managing garbage is the first step here, because we saw a lot of cases, when some our clients came to us and say like, okay, I have a big website, like 200,000 pages, and I need to optimize it. And like half year after, I talking with the client, and they told me, we clean it half of the website, we simply delete it, closing it from indexation, and our picture became better, because as we all remember, Google understanding your website in the whole. You can have, 1% of amazing content, all EIT factors, the best authors, but if the rest 99% of your website is auto-generated thin pages, thin garbage, your website is not so well, right? And some of garbage, not factors, but something what you can see here on the list. It doesn't mean so if you have some pages less than 10 internal links pointing to them, it's garbage. No, but it's like a simple checklist for you to go on your website and to check it and to look by your eyes, because it's a lot of SEO tools, even JetOctopus, we have some SEO audit when you can look, and we tell you look on this, it's probably problem. But on any point, on any item, you should look by your own eyes, because it's your website, you understand it better than any other, and to understand, is it truly problem for you or no? because for some catalogs, like thin pages with 0 products on the catalog page is not a problem, because for aggregators tomorrow it can has hundreds of products on category page. For some, no. Some useless content, duplicates. So it's all like some marks what you should see, and like, do you have, how many garbage you have, and can you clean or no? And also, if you found some garbage pages, please do not delete them all immediately. Like, it's SEO, and only one task is obvious, and you should be implemented like right away when your robots.txt is disallowing the whole website. Okay, so the rest of SEO task, it's better to implement step by step. You found some bunch of garbage, clean it, but not all. Test, look, everything is fine, and go further. Okay. The fast way to improve our internal linking, we select weakly linked pages. So, for example, those pages have only one in links from other pages. We select some more well-linked pages on the same topic, and we put links from well-linked pages to weak-linked pages. And of course, in any case, in any task, we should remember about topic. The same topic should be for all pages. So if you want to link, if you have eShop and you want to link your mobile phones with vacuum cleaners, probably it's not the best decision here. So it's better to link mobile phones with mobile phones, or with like some accessories with mobile phones, but not, with the garden tools. Sometimes we forget this rule. But it's a fast way and not so good way. You can try it just to test some hypotheses. The best way of linking catalog pages, and it can be also applied for product pages on catalog websites, is going through the clusters. Because in most cases, our all pages are they're pointing to some topic, for example, to some category, for example, mobile phones, accessories, garden tools, automotive tools, so on. And we should work with them within a cluster. And how we do it step by step. So, for example, we have a website about cats, about dogs, about, I don't know, any animals of the world. And here we have a cluster of the cats. And you see, we have type 5 breeds of the cats, and we gather the frequency of keywords, of queries for each of those page. And we don't have to have here some precise amounts of frequencies. We just need to distinguish our pages. For example, if Persian cat has 1,000, I don't know, queries per month, per year, doesn't matter. But we should realize it 20 times more frequent rather than Sphinx cat, for example, which has only 50 queries per any amount of time. And looking on the numbers, we can distinguish them, their importance. So for us, the most important breed is short hair, the next going Persian cat, Maine Coon, and further. And we do very simple math here, and calculated percentage of each page within our queries. And as we see, our British short hair has almost 44% of importance, we said. And the next on every our page here within our cluster, we, for example, want to add a 3 position, 3 places for internal links within our content, on some place on the left, in some menu. So within our cluster, we will have 15 places for internal links. And also doing some simple math, we can get here. So British short hair should has at least 5 internal links pointing from the other pages within our cluster. The next going Persian cat, Maine Coon, and wherever. And the number of internal links is pretty well shows their difference. So the more important page, the more in links it should have from other pages. Okay. And our cluster is linked, and we go the same way to every cluster, every topic on a bunch of the pages. And we also can link the clusters between them the same way between some pages, but just on the bigger scale. Okay. And after we did everything, we should analyze it. Okay, is it became better? Is it became worse? Because sometimes it can look so obvious, but it goes not so well. And very often, like we see, and we, on every research, sometimes it's from our psychology, we wanted to see what we want, we see what we want to see, and like it became a little bit better, let's do it, or whatever. But it's not a good way to deal with, to deal professionally with SEO. And here goes data-driven SEO, and with help of experiments. And if we go to statistic, I have a very good book from Statistic for Dummies. It's a yellow book. Probably someone saw it. I put link on it. It's a very good book and a very good statistic approach how to do proper experiments. So if we wanted, for example, you saw my presentation and like tomorrow you want to go and do some experiments. So you select two bunch of pages, your test group and your control group. And as we understand, those groups should be almost the same. And okay, if you have 1 million pages website, you should select, I don't know, at least 10,000 pages for every group, not 100 pages, because it will be not valuable results. And you select in those groups which are very similar between them by pages count, by crawling budget, by queries which was those groups ranked for, regions, wherever. And we applied an experiment on our test group, and with control group we do nothing. Okay, and after we wait some time, like usually it's enough 2 weeks, 1 month, you see by logs. So the Google bot has been recrawled your control group and test group, and you compare results. And if nothing happens between test group and control group, so probably it's not a good experiment. It's not a statistical significance here, significant difference here, and better to go another way. So experimenting helps you to save some time, because you can do more, you can wait 1 month, 2 months, half year, nothing happens. But rather than wait a lot of time, you can go with another idea, with another experiments, and reach your results, which brings you with more organic traffic, thanks by technical SEO. And our conclusions are so that internal links is a very powerful tool for big websites. I'm not saying here, so the small websites should not doing that, but when we come to big websites with 100,000 pages, with 1 million of pages, it's crucial. You can't, and I saw it was also my website when we have like 5 million pages and only like 10% of the website was properly linked, and the rest of the website was simply on sitemap. So it's not the proper way. It requires internal links to properly build your structure for the big websites. Unfortunately, that's why a lot of SEO doesn't like to deal with that, because building your site structure and internal links requires developers' time, and usually requires a lot of developers' time, and you should, how it's said, you should find the way to tell developers what you want, because from their perspective, very often it looks like some weird task with the end reason for them, and they don't want and can't understand how to deal with that. As we all see, good internal links, it not also for Google, but also for user. And also, as any part of SEO or technical SEO, internal links are not solution for any problem. just implementing like with the proper internal links, it will not put you to top one, for any query in Google. It's a part of whole picture, is very important part, and sometimes it's a foundation for any further SEO action on the big websites, but it's not a silver bullet, and you should realize it fully. So here is. Thank you for attention. Your questions.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about your conclusion. So we actually, do a lot of work with internal linking, and in fact, I actually think the opposite. We have seen things where we've really just optimized the internal linking and seen pages really leap to the first page that weren't on the first page, and there's a big precedent for that. The eBay team, they had done this thing. I don't remember what year they had done it, but a gentleman by the name of Dennis G had blogged about it, and he talked about it, where basically they had this mechanism where they hooked their rankings data up into their internal linking structure. And so, keywords that ranked on page 2, they automatically build more internal links to, and then those end up on the first page. And so we've done something like that several times for a variety of clients, and I've seen it's a different number of internal links per site because of the composition of the site, the number of pages, how link equity flows, and so on. But nevertheless, we see that works very well. And I agree with you that it doesn't take the place of technical issues. It doesn't suddenly work if you don't have your content sorted out. But generally speaking, we've seen it have a dramatic impact on websites for doing this.
I also heard this from guys from depositphoto.com. They had almost the same algorithm. They looking on Google Search Console data from different data and automatically fits the internal links. But I can say the opposite. We can parse, for example, eBay, deposit photo, and make our own junk website, and do, with a fully parsed content from other guys, and build the amazing internal linking structure. And we even won't be ranked, So when you have
again, it doesn't take the place of having a valuable website with good content and so on. I'm just saying it is a mechanism that can be a step function of growth once you've got a lot of other things sorted out.
And we do also saw, cases for the clients when almost everything done perfect, and when they implemented proper internal linking, they has huge impact on their rankings. Sometimes it can be like the missing part of the whole picture, which produces a huge impact on traffic.
Yeah, absolutely. And so for anyone, who's looking for ways to do this with a variety of different tools and looking for a lot of best practices around internal linking and so on, there's a great guide by a gentleman named Kevin Indig, which you can go to this link and review, where he talks about a lot of these different concepts. He also talks about something that he calls TIPR, which is basically a combination of internal page rank that also takes into account external data as well. Serge doesn't seem to agree with internal page rank being valuable. Kevin, of course, has done a lot of work around this, and there's a lot of value in the work that he does as well. But nevertheless, whatever your approach is, the bottom line is we're saying you should improve your internal linking structure because it can be valuable to improving your visibility. So do we have any questions in the audience?
I wanted to add here, and I mentioned it before, but forget about it. And when we go into internal linking, it's a very powerful tool when you also compare them with external links. So when you have a bunch of pages which point at good external links, you should assume that a hub pages which you can build a strong internal links to your site structure further. So when you combine two types of links, you should add external links to account to your formula, something like that. But my opinion also here, it's more like pro level for technical SEO, and it can be done very professional SEO guys. And do not do it, on the first step.
Agreed. Excuse me.
Yeah,
cool.
One thing I want to call out.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
No, it was kind of interesting how you break down the site structure and links, but also just kind of the garbage cleaning. So, like when you think about, okay, we want to improve internal linking, right? And you're going through, let's say, like a recipe site. It's like, how can I categorize and segment out that site to then leverage that content for internal linking, right? So it's like, okay, all these recipes use eggs, great. Like, what can I talk about and be like, okay, you have eggs in the fridge. How can we reorganize this content to improve our internal linking, right?
Do you
So
cook, John?
I do not, but not too much. But it's just fascinating to me of like kind of the garbage mentality, but also the segmentation of how we can leverage or identify opportunity for internal linking.
I'm not saying it's very hard, because if we go in for cooking, because I love to cook, and for example, if you're looking for grill recipe, it's our main like category, and after we go into meat on grill, we go into fish on grill, we go to veggies on grill, and here will be your like topic cluster, and after we can distinguish them, do what we do, lamb, like pork, wherever on grill, and between them you can connect. And of course, if we are looking pork on grill, we can also link from other cluster, like pork on how is it from Greek, furno, in the oven, pork on open fire, so on, so on. So it produce a proper like context way. And also for user, if I'm looking for pork on grill, and now like very cold outside of my house, I can do pork in the oven, and it's very nice to organize the website.
Yeah, the other thing that's I guess somewhat interesting is like especially Google Search Console, right? So those keywords, being able to identify pages to create those clusters to be like, okay, here's the opportunity for internal linking, and here's how to leverage that, content and data that needs, add these links to these pages, or come up with some other plan of attack for it.
And you can also look from Google Search Console some about cannibalization. It's very popular word, like cannibalizing queries, but it can be, like some similar pages can be run on the same queries, and you should consider them not like they truly competitive between each other, but probably they're on same topic, and very oftenly you can't even imagine they can be like on the same topic. And Google Search Console data helps you very well here.
Cool. So are there any questions from the audience? If not, is there anything else you guys want to touch on before we roll out?
So one thing I want to touch on was more of the how to add all of these links dynamically. So Mike talked about, leveraging some type of ranking tool to be able to be like, okay, here are the keywords that are on page 2 that we could try to bump up and, identify the pages, create the links and go from there. But are there other means of inserting them? Or, I wouldn't say to take like a JavaScript kind of approach first, but if your website's hosted with Cloudflare or something, you could take a worker approach and do different types of dynamic insertion that way.
From my perspective, it's like, this task is only, 50% of SEO, and the other 50% is fully developer task. And I did realize a bit simpler internal linking formula, and it took me, I don't remember, like from 3 to 4 months, like, day-to-day job on a big website. And, it's very time consuming, and, it very depends on the state of your website, because if your website old, like even 10 years old, and it's very common for the big website, you can have so many technologies there, so many different teams, and from SEO guy to manage it, I don't know, not so many guys can do it, to be honest, but it's doable. And from my perspective, the main goal, the main thing, what SEO should do, like to spread and to say everybody the importance of this task and show the value of it. So not about rankings, but about money, how many more revenue we will have after implementing this task, and do all best to implement it. But about technical, think it's probably to better make some webinar for developers or something like that, how to implement such type of stuff, because it's fully developer's task with the databases, with formulas, optimization, so on.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. So this is great. We don't have any questions, so I think it's a good time for us to wrap it up here. Serge, tell us a little bit more about JetOctopus and how they can reach you.
JetOctopus is a very nice tool which we built by ourselves, and feel free to reach me on Twitter, on email. I'm always open it for some cases to do some experiments. We love sharing data. And JetOctopus is a crawler, is a log analyzer, Google Search Console. So our main idea is to be a technical tool number one, which you can, like technical SEO for big websites is a tons of data. And sometimes your Excel is freezing, your Python script is like making your laptop hot. So don't do it on your side. It's better to make hot our servers. So we want the JetOctopus works very fast. It helps and visualize the data, and like to make a technical SEO a bit easier, we hope, and we do.
And what's one thing that JetOctopus does that either other crawling tools don't do, or it does better than those tools?
First of all, our capacity and the speed. And if you ask somebody to talk, our name is Jet, it's not just for words. So everything is built to be really Jet. That's why we built, in different way. We didn't use the technologies which other guys using right now. And JetOctopus handle a big amount of data. Our logs dashboard is from our client said, one of the best on the market. Our Google Search Console integration also we love it. We have a very good JavaScript crawler, which shows you a maximum amount of JavaScript errors. And sometimes some clients write in support, your crawler works not properly, you have some error there, but no, our crawler work proper. It's some problems on your website. We have a free trial, 7 days. It's not limited. You can test crawler, log analyzer, Google Search Console. We also have Hrefs integration, custom data. So feel free to test. Feel free to go to demo, and our guys and girls show you the best what you can do with JetOctopus.
Awesome. Well, Serge, thanks so much for sharing this with us, and best of luck with JetOctopus. And yeah. That's it. See you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.